Good evening, everybody. It is H2G's podcast. We are celebrating my game of the week. I've been excited. I've been wanting to win a game. I always get all these points and then I never win. So I thought, what better game than Richie's favorite things? And I'll let Chelsea. No, I'm just kidding. I'm totally kidding. I'm kidding. Okay. So our game of the week is not going to be that at all. Actually, our game of the week is, you know what? It is almost time for Black History Month. So I thought nothing better than a game of the week based on a fantastic movie. If you have Amazon Prime, please check it out. It's called One Night in Miami. It is about the night where Cassius Clay, later known as Muhammad Ali, Malcolm X, Sam Cooke, and Jim Brown met in a hotel room in Miami and had ice cream. What we don't know is what those gentlemen talked about, but this movie fictionalizes and makes some assumptions. And quite frankly, Regina King was the director. Yeah, you know her from wonderful movies and comedy movies, actually, but she did a fantastic job as a director. And I really think the fiction of this, what happened and her portrayal of that is very accurate to probably what happened. So having said that, the actors are incredible. And I thought, what better way to celebrate Black History Month? Because I don't know if I will win in February to be able to do this, than celebrating these four gentlemen. And quite frankly, there are many women, which, spoiler alert, we might find out about some of them that were imperative to the movement as well. But let's focus on the four gentlemen: Malcolm X, Muhammad Ali, Sam Cooke, and Jim Brown. Chelsea is our newest member, and Chelsea gets to pick who's going first, who's taking what, including herself. Chelsea, who would you like?
Sorry, can you name them off again?
Okay. Malcolm X, Muhammad Ali, Sam Cooke, and Jim Brown.
I'm going to go with Muhammad Ali for myself.
Chelsea's going with Muhammad Ali. Good choice. Who you giving Marvin?
Malcolm X.
Marvin. Oof. Marvin gets Malcolm X. It's a hard one. What about Justin?
Oh, let's see.
Sam Cooke and Jim Brown.
We're going to go with Jim Brown.
He gets Jim Brown. He thinks he's happy about that, but he's probably not. Christy, you get Sam Cooke. All right, what's the order, Chelsea? Who's going when?
We're going to have Marvin go first.
Okay, Marvin will be going first, and then we'll keep moving down the list. But let me clarify something here. There are 5 questions per man. Each question is worth 1 point. There's no extras and bonuses because these are hard. Honestly, if you get 1 point, I feel like you're in a good position. I'm going to tell the audience right now, these are not easy questions. Although a lot of this is information that I feel like people should know on some level about these people. At the end of it, we will have a final question, which will be worth 2 points. And with that final question, if nobody can answer and we still have a tie, I have a secret bonus final question. So there will be a winner at the end of the day. I'm not worried about that. Marvin, are you ready to talk about brother Malcolm X?
Yep, ready.
Okay. First question, what was Malcolm X's former last name? Not an easy question. Take your time, brother. We got time.
I want to say Brown.
Okay. It is not Brown. His name was Malcolm Little.
Little.
He removed his last name because he said he wanted to not have to deal with the idea of not having what his family name would actually be. So that's why he chose to go with X and remove his surname. Why did Malcolm X announce his split from the Nation of Islam? This is a really
Why didn't he?
Why did he announce his split?
Wait, why didn't he announce?
Of Islam.
Ooh, there's a variety of reasons. It's not one singular one. He left due to corruption involving the Honorable Elijah Muhammad.
You know what? I'm going to give you the point right there. That's good enough for me, Marvin, because there's not one specific reason, but that is the primary reason.
Right.
And the reason that he had issue with Elijah Muhammad was that Elijah Muhammad had several illegitimate children, which was in direct violation of the Nation of Islam. You are not to have extramarital affairs. So that is the primary but not sole reason why he split from the Nation of Islam. So Marvin, good answer, man. That's a tough one. Here's another one. This one I actually think is kind of easy if you know the guy, but understand if you don't. What was the controversial quote Malcolm X said after JFK was assassinated? He got a lot of negative press, so to speak, from saying this.
It was a quote stating it was about fighting back. It's a famous quote, right?
Yes, sir.
Famous quote goes about fighting
Most
back.
infamously known for this phrase. In fact, after he said this phrase, he was banned from speaking for 90 days by the Nation of Islam because they found it so disrespectful.
I'm a pass, Richie.
No problem.
It's tough.
It was the chickens coming home to roost. So a lot of people took offense to it because it sounded like he was saying JFK did something bad in his life, therefore he deserved to die. He actually talked about it later in life in his autobiography. He did not mean JFK deserved to be assassinated. He meant chickens coming home to roost in the sense that there's so much vitriol with racism and that JFK was making strides that those racists killed him. That's what he meant, but it was not taken that way. Question 4. Which famous athlete did Malcolm X convince to join the Nation of Islam?
Muhammad Ali.
Good job, man. He got 2 points. All right.
And I would say Cassius Clay before he became Muhammad Ali, but
I would have picked either one, and you are correct either way. But Cassius Clay, technically. Which organization did Malcolm X found? He founded an organization. What was that organization? After he split from the Nation of Islam. This is another tough one because it only lasted for about 3 years because he was assassinated in 65.
This is hard. I should know this. You got me, man. Wish this was multiple choice. Like the way I can narrow it down because
You are correct. If I had multiple choice, I guarantee you probably get 4.
why is this? That's why it makes the game of the week so hard.
It was intentionally hard. The organization is the Afro-American Unity Organization. It lasted about 3.5 years.
Yeah.
After he had died, people kind of gave up on the idea because he was assassinated. And to clarify to our viewers out there, he was assassinated by the Nation of Islam. So, Chelsea, Marvin has successfully answered 2. I think you guys are in trouble because that was the hardest one in my opinion, and he got 2 of those. So, oof. Who's going next, and who we picking?
Let's have Justin go next. He doesn't look
Justin. You're right, Justin. You're going after. You know what? It's it's football. You got a chance. Jim.
I'll just take the goose egg now. Go ahead and move on.
Hey, I believe in you, man. I believe in you. You can do this. How many titles did Jim win in his NFL career? How many rushing titles?
Rushing?
Yes.
Titles.
He led the league
NFL career.
in rushing.
Yeah.
So how many rushing titles did Jim Brown have during his 9-year career? This is the only football question I believe. Actually, there's 2.
I don't know. My gut's saying 6.
It is 6 is incorrect.
My
He
gut's
actually
saying
led the
6.
league in 8 out of 9 seasons. The most dominant running back.
Jesus.
Yes. Which movie did Jim Brown film when he retired? And let me clarify, he retired because he was forced to choose between playing for the Cleveland Browns or doing a movie. And he said, I'm doing this movie. What movie was that? Marvin knows this. I could see it in his face.
No clue.
Okay. The Dirty Dozen was the movie. That he
All right.
Here, we'll go back to one more fun one for football. What angered Jim Brown so much that he almost made a comeback at age 47 to the NFL? He was so angry by this that he almost came back at 47 to play football.
At 47.
Mm-hmm.
Patriots won a Super Bowl.
Harris of the Steelers was closing in on his career rushing yards.
Oh, okay.
Franco Harris is not worthy of passing me. So Franco Harris actually ended up having a downwind and didn't do it. And then Walter Payton ended up passing Jim, and Jim was okay with it. So Jim didn't get lace up again. But he was so mad that Franco Harris of the Steelers was about to pass him in yards that he was about to come back in the NFL. This is the hardest question of all the questions.
Of course it's coming to me.
Jim Brown was the founder of what union? And it is still a union today.
I don't even know the name of the unions I know about. I know Kroger's runs on a freaking union. There's a nurse union because they just all went on strike. GM has a union.
Yeah, they have unions. You are correct.
There's the Actors Union.
The Actors Guild.
It's the Screen Actors Guild and Actors Equity. I have no idea, dude.
Okay, it was called the Negro Industrial and Economic Union, and it has been renamed to the Black Economic Union, and it is still a union today. There's one more question. Maybe you can get it. We don't have to give you a goose egg. What was the first film that Jim Brown was the lead actor in? That's okay. The movie was Split. These are incredibly hard, audience. Don't judge based on this. These are super hard questions. I clearly picked questions that were not about their career necessarily, but more so specifics. So with
he played for the Browns. He played for the Cleveland Browns.
Brown, baby.
He's one of the best running backs of all time. He played for the Browns. That's
Chelsea, who's going next? You or Christy?
I'll go next. Just get it over with.
All right, she's going to get it over with. Marvin has a whopping 2 points. Justin's at 0, but as you can see, that's not too far off. And if Justin gets the last question, he ties with Marvin. We go into the tiebreaker. So all is not last. You decided to do Muhammad Ali, Chelsea. Good choice. First question. What started Cassius Clay's decision to box?
Marvin looks like he knows it. Look at his face.
What started Cassius Clay's decision to box?
Oh, man. Okay. I'm probably just going to make up some answers here. He witnessed somebody getting beat up and he wanted to be able to save somebody. So he learned how to box.
You know, I like the effort. I like the idea. He had a red and white Schwinn. He was 12 years old and it was stolen from him. So he reported it to the police. There was a gentleman named Joe Martin who promised to pummel the guy, but he also promised to teach him how to box. 6 weeks later, he won his first boxing match. Who was Cassius Marcellus Clay named after? Yeah, these aren't easy, folks. These are very hard questions.
A famous person?
I actually gave you a loophole, but I don't think you heard it in time.
Oh,
so
you did?
Take it away from you.
I might.
Cassius Marcellus Clay named after. He was named after Cassius Marcellus Clay, who was a 19th century farmer and an anti-slavery crusader. He freed 40 slaves of his fathers.
Wow.
But I was being very tricky with that. Technically, you could have said Cassius Marcellus Clay.
For color? Are we stealing for color?
No, you're not stealing for color. You
Are we
already
stealing
have
for color?
No
We're
cheating.
not stealing for color.
No cheating.
All right, I'll
Chelsea, why was Muhammad Ali banned from boxing for 3 years? This one's probably the easiest question.
I don't watch boxing.
Well, this isn't boxing. This is history, my friend.
I know. I'm also, unfortunately, very bad at remembering things. So anything in history I would have learned.
We talked about history or remembering things during the week. I forget a lot of things.
Yeah.
He was banned for 3 years.
I feel like I should just keep my answers for something he said.
Cool. Can you kind of elaborate? I might even give you the point if you can give me a little more. Gotta give me a little more though.
He said something race related, and it pissed people off. I don't know.
I almost want to give you a point, but that was too generic. I'm sorry. That was good though.
Let me steal for color. I actually know one.
Okay, I'll let you steal for color, but you don't get points.
I don't have any points.
How you gonna let him steal for color?
Because Marvin, you got 2 points, and this is the only question I actually know the damn answer to.
Because you're looking
Fair
good,
enough.
Marvin. Justin.
Fair enough. Once again, I'll shut up and go back.
Why was he banned for 3 years?
Because he refused to enter the military after he was drafted.
That's right. And to Chelsea's point, he said it was for religious reasons and that the Vietnamese, well, he said Viet Cong, never did anything to harm me. So that's why he was banned for 3 years. Question 4. This is another one that's not too hard, but if you don't know him, obviously it's going to be super hard. Where was Muhammad Ali born?
Are you wanting like city or?
The city. If you give me the state, I'll even give it to you, to be honest, because these are hard questions.
New York.
That is incorrect, unfortunately. He was born in Louisville. He is the original Louisville Slugger. Last question. How many times, this is kind of a mean question, how many times did Muhammad Ali get married?
3.
Ooh, close. 4. He was married 4 times. Damn. I was hoping you'd get that just because that'd be fun. All right, well, we're going to have to go to Christy. As you can see, audience, these were not easy questions. I made them do essentially fill in the blank because if I do multiple choices, we've learned in school, our grades are a little higher. And we don't want that. We want people to know. You either know or you don't. Christy, you're getting Sam Cooke, one of my favorite musicians of all time. What song inspired Sam Cooke to write A Change Is Gonna Come?
Wait, what'd you
Marvin's
say?
So annoyed. What song inspired Sam Cooke to write A Change Is Gonna Come?
Is it the Train to Georgia song?
It is not, but that's a good guess. It was actually Bob Dylan's Blowin' in the Wind. And that's one of the things he said later in life. And you'll see in the movie, as you'll all watch it, I'm sure, and hopefully you will at home, audience, that a white boy from Minnesota was writing songs about racial injustice, and I was singing to white people, and I couldn't stomach it. Sam Cooke only performed this song once. Where and when did he perform it? Doesn't have to be a date, but where did he perform it?
The city?
You need to be a little more specific than this city. It's just, he performed it one time. One time. Do you know where he performed it?
You want the actual venue.
It does not need to be a venue. It wasn't really, it's much, pull back from venue and city. He performed this one time and then he was murdered, unfortunately. So where was this performance?
I'm so confused by the question.
He did this live performance of A Change Is Gonna Come. This is the only performance anyone's ever heard Sam Cooke do this song because he died, and the song was released 2 weeks after he had died.
Like a hotel?
I'm sorry, I'm gonna
So not a city, not a venue. I'm so confused on what you want the answer to be.
Where did he perform the song? It does not have to be a location. This is not about a location. He performed the song live to the America.
On the radio?
Close. That was kind of what I was referring to. He performed it on the Johnny Carson's Tonight Show. He performed it on Johnny Carson. He had recorded it 8 days before. He did one live performance on the Tonight Show, and then he died. And 2 weeks in, December 22nd, it was released on record after he had died. So nobody ever heard him sing the song except for the Johnny Carson live show.
Okay.
What is Sam Cooke known as? What is his nickname, his moniker? This is actually a moniker that someone else tries to as well say. So it's not necessarily his, but it's what he always referred to himself as.
I needed to hold that in. Almost said something.
There are 3 people who use this moniker, but he was the first one to declare himself this moniker.
The King?
That's close enough. The King of Soul. Otis Redding, James Brown, Sam Cooke. But Sam Cooke was the first King of Soul.
I really wanted to say badass motherfucker. So much. Like, literally, that's where my mouth wanted to go.
But Christy's got 1 point. She's on the board with 2 questions left. Sam Cooke started his own record label. What was the name of it?
Blues Records.
Pretty good guess. That's a pretty good guess. It was actually called the SAR Records. How old was Sam Cooke when he was killed? It was a tragedy.
Yeah, because wasn't he killed by, like, in a hotel or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, because he was staying there and he came downstairs in his boxers or something and he was shot by a white lady. And he was...
Damn, if I'd asked that question, she would have nailed it.
He was so young.
Was very young.
I really want to say 27, but what if he in his 20s? Or was he in his 30s? I'm going to say 27.
Okay. You know, honestly, I have to commend you that you knew that much information about his death. A lot of people don't know too much about it. He was 33 years old. 33. So with that, Marvin has 2, Christy has 1, Justin has 0, Chelsea has 0. But here's the beauty. We got our final question. It's worth 2 points. So it's still anybody's game because if we get a tie, we got the secret tiebreaker question. But I don't think it'll come to that because I think somebody will know this. I hope to God somebody knows this. Final question. You get to message me in Facebook, please, or you can write it down. I don't care, either or. You won't say it out loud, though, and we'll go around the horn, and I'll take a look at my messages. Take your time on this question. Who and what was her name was Martin Luther King Jr.'s wife? What was her name? I do not need a middle name as long as I get her first and last name. You will message me. We will not say it out loud because each of you have the opportunity to earn these points. Who was Martin Luther King Jr.'s wife? And while they're thinking about it, audience, it's very important that I ask this question because she was the one who actually set up the foundation for Martin Luther King and fought for him, and Ronald Reagan approved it to have the Martin Luther King Jr. Day in commemoration of him. And she's not commemorated enough, quite frankly. Incredible woman. Marvin has submitted his answer.
I'm trying. My messenger is loading.
No worries. Take your time. We got plenty of time for posterity's sake. We'll get them all in. Justin, you are correct. Justin has 2 points.
What?
You see?
Which, the first one or the second one?
No, wait, hold on. It was the first one. I'm gonna count the second one.
Okay.
Close enough. I'm not gonna bullshit on that, so it's close enough. Christy, that is not correct, unfortunately. Chelsea is correct as well, and Marvin is correct. So Marvin technically won. It is Coretta Scott King.
I was so close.
Christy, if you had done what Justin did, he said Loretta or Coretta.
Oh my God, I almost did the same thing.
I couldn't remember.
Loretta.
I put Loretta or Coretta. I couldn't remember what it was, but Coretta sounded wrong when I was trying to type it, so I was like, because Loretta is a more popular name than Coretta. Coretta is pretty unique.
Yeah, no, it's a very. So even though Marvin won, I do want to at least have the conversation of what the special bonus question would have been. And I want you guys to guess, just for posterity's sake, for color as we call it, how many words are in the I Have a Dream speech? How many words are in the I Have a Dream speech?
It's got to be like 786 words.
It's a 17-minute speech.
It might be more than 786 words. He talked kind of slow.
860.
How many, Chelsea?
Said 7,860.
Oh, come on now. Come on, man.
I'm going to say 3,082.
Marv, what you got?
2,000.
The correct answer is 1,789 words. So Marvin, that's pretty close, man.
Dang.
Pretty close. And that's what I would have done had we gotten to a tiebreaker. Closest to the words would have won. But Marvin,
So,
you did
Marvin, either way.
won.
So you would have gone by the estimate. Who was closest?
Yes, that's what I would have went by, and you would have been the closest. In that. Marvin, you won the bonus question in addition to, honestly, what I consider the hardest questions, because a lot of people don't know anything about Malcolm X, quite frankly. And the questions I asked were super challenging, but I do want to point out that most of these questions were designed around their contributions to society and not so much their, the more well-known things, so to speak. So Marvin, the floor is yours. You are the winner of the Black History Month celebration. It starts today. Marvin, what you got to say?
Hey man, it's been a while since I've said I won game of the week. I've been getting my ass kicked for some months now. Christy been dominating. Justin, Richie. Now Chelsea's coming in. She's a strong player. I learned a lot. Like Richie said, their contributions to society. We often forget that these were legends and just played such a pivotal role in the civil rights movement, and they'll never be forgotten. So the win game of the week, even is just a bonus learning at the same time.
And you get a victory point, and you get to host next week, man.
Get to host next week.
And
so I got something for y'all.
I'm excited, man. I'm excited to see what we're gonna get. That's the one thing I will say about these game of the weeks. I love when everyone wins because everyone has different styles. Everyone has different games. Honestly, they're never the same. And I always look forward to seeing everyone's games. I think of everyone, Justin always makes the most fair game, and that's always great. And thankfully, I was able to win the fair one because I certainly don't win the other ones. I'll tell you that right now. I can't move with the crap. Apparently, it is what it is. It is what it is. So on that note, my final thought is just, I want to go back to what this game represents and what it was to me. I think it's really important we understand the contributions made during the civil rights movement in America as a whole. And I hope we'll have opportunities to discuss it more. We obviously have the month coming up. And there are so many women that contributed as well. And I really wanted to give Coretta Scott King that little nod at the end there. But it's an incredible movie. Please give that a shot if you get the chance. And hopefully, hearing these questions and not knowing them, because quite frankly, I wouldn't expect most of you to know any of these. And I didn't know all these questions. I'm not going to sit here and say I knew all of these. Some of these were insane. Honestly, for instance, I didn't know Jim Brown's first acting lead role was Split, obviously. Or, am I going to know he had 8 rushing titles out of 9 years, that he was the champion of, no, of course not. But I think the questions that you should think about more so were, who is Malcolm X? And if you can't answer that, then I think you should look into it a little more. Because I think particularly someone like Malcolm X is more relatable than someone like Martin Luther King. And when I say that in Black Lives Matter. Martin Luther King was such a pacifist and did such a great job of understanding the social and political aspects of protesting. And Malcolm X was the opposite. Malcolm X was arrested when he was young. He served 9 years in prison. And honestly, he was what I would like to almost equate to being brainwashed to an extent by a very radical group. And you hear his radicalisms and you see that, but you also see the man evolve and grow. And towards the very end of his life, and it was unfortunate, he was assassinated by that radical group. You really saw him understanding that we didn't need to separate, and to see that not just from white citizens, but also from black civilians, to see that separation isn't the answer from both levels. And you had that militantness to him. It was an incredible experience learning about Malcolm X in college. I took quite a few studies about African-American history, although I like to refer to it as Black history. I think to call it African-American history is disingenuous, quite frankly. But there are a lot of great men here, and I'm hoping we'll have opportunities to shine the light on a lot more wonderful Black people who helped America grow. And with that is the H2G podcast, and hopefully we will have some more fun next week. We had some pretty serious things. We had a very challenging and serious game of the week. I'm sure you guys are going to get something a little more fun and fast-paced than what this was. This is definitely more Jeopardy on the side of bullshit. But having said that, I hope you guys had a great time, and we'll see you next week. Peace. Good job, Marv. 2. Man, I thought you'd get
great
one.
Game, Richie.